I'm Gav and this is Feel Extra Good. Peppered through my recent videos, I've been talking about anger, as I believe that anger is something that we don't have the opportunity to get to know and to get to understand. Getting to know the angry parts of us has an air of uncertainty, insecurity and even danger about it. So much so that even openly admitting to people that we are angry is something that has become a taboo subject. My view on anger has certainly changed over the years. I used to actually think that angry people weren't as strong as me. That if someone got angry in front of me, I used to make assumptions about them that they couldn't control their emotions and they was weak people for letting themselves become angry. Oh God. But truth be told, I only thought this because I wasn't in touch with my anger at all. As in, the emotion didn't even blend with me. And when I did consciously blend with my anger, I had to then learn how to recognize and read the anger that I felt in my body more or less for the first time. And once I had learned to read and recognize my anger, came expressing my anger, which was the real challenge. But back then, the levels of anger that I had seemed huge at the time. And looking back, I think there was a lot more intense than anything that I feel these days. Once I had blended with my anger and learned how to recognize when the anger was in my body, I then had to learn how to express it in a healthy way where I didn't mentally and emotionally destroy the people around me. This is why roaring out my anger and rage came as such as a wonderful welcomed relief. As discovering that roaring out my anger and rage didn't involve anybody else, and the animalistic feelings that went beyond anger and rage was never put onto anybody else in my life. And I learned how to change my emotional state within around 15 minutes having a really good roaring session, which meant that the anger didn't take over me, didn't consume me, and it didn't change me. We'll be covering more about how to roar out anger in more detail in up and coming videos. When we first started using our guidance feelings in the very first video, I said that I used my guidance feelings to figure out what my anxiety represented. It was important for you to discover what your anxiety represented for yourself, rather than me telling you what I think it could be. But I think enough time has passed now where I can tell you what caused my anxiety. And I'll tell you in the next video. With that said, thank you so much for watching, and how's you going? They can take things too seriously sometimes. My anxiety that I lived with for well over 10 years was suppressed and unacknowledged anger and rage. Since I didn't have the ability to feel and experience the anger in my body, I was given a knock-on effect, which was anxiety. The anxiety I lived with changed in intensity throughout the year. Sometimes it wasn't as bad, though it was still definitely there. And sometimes it felt like a red hot spike was literally staking me to the bed, where I'd stay until gone noon, when I'd usually feel a bit better. I still remember when I was using my guidance feelings for the very first time to see if I could correctly label the painful burning feeling that I felt in my stomach. I tried repeating statements of, I feel scared, I feel lonely, I feel vulnerable, I feel like a child, I feel I'm in the wrong, and I feel that it's my fault, but none of those got rid of the anxiety. But the only statement that eased the painful burning in my stomach was when I repeated, I feel angry. It was at this point that I knew that I'd found what my anxiety had represented. After the very first session, I experienced a new emotion which became known as the light feeling. If you have found that the anxiety that you lived with went away and was replaced with a light feeling when you said that you feel angry, then I would definitely be interested to hear your story. If you ever feel up to it at some point in the future, then please let me know in the comments. From my experience, I see that anger needs to be burnt up, and we do this by roaring at images and situations in your mind. And this is the most congruent way that I've found to deal with anger. So it didn't sink back down into me, meaning that I ended up living with anxiety once again. I'll end by saying that next week we're going to begin the final stages of using your guidance feelings to figure out how you truly feel, which will include showing you how to deal with any suppressed feelings of anger and rage by using the situations that happen in your life to emotionally link back into past events. With that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.